Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Jai Sapadika Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai Jai Shri Giraj Govardhanju Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pariprajakacharya Stutarasata Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pariprajakacharya Stutarasata Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class Dhanavad. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Chita Padakamalam. Oh, I already did that. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Text 109 of the 19th chapter of Antya Lila, the Lord's inconceivable behavior. Mahaprabhu Nityananda Dohara Dasera Dasa Jare Kripa Karena Tarahaya Ite Vishvasa. If one becomes a servant of the servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu and is favored by them, he can believe in all of these discourses. So everything that's being said here, you can understand that it is true. Śraddha kari shuna iha shunite mahashuka kandibe adhyatmikadi kurarkadi dukkha. Just try to hear these topics with faith, for there is great pleasure even in hearing them. That hearing will destroy all miseries pertaining to the body, mind, and other living entities, and the unhappiness of false arguments as well. Chaitanya Charitamrta Nityanutana Shunite Shunite Judaya Hridaya Shravana. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta is ever increasingly fresh. For one who hears it again and again, the heart and ear become pacified. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padejara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrta Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, Antya Lila, 19th chapter, describing the Lord's devotion to his mother, his mad speeches in separation from Krishna, and his rubbing his face against the walls of the Gambhira, and his dancing in the Jagannath Ballabh garden. I know we read that already, but now we've come to the Śikṣāṣṭaka prayers. You look very scholarly.
I look so early now.
Except for the,
Oh.
The following summary of the 20th chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed his nights tasting the meaning of the Śikṣāṣṭaka prayers in the company of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Sometimes he recited verses from Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, from Sri Ramananda Rai's Jagannath Vallabh Nataka, or from Sri Bilvamangal Thakur's Krishna Karnamrita. In this way, he became absorbed in ecstatic emotions. For the 12 years Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at Jagannath Puri, he relished the taste of reciting such transcendental verses. Altogether, the Lord was present in this mortal world for 48 years. Very short time. After hinting about the Lord's disappearance, the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrta gives a short description of the entire Antya Lila and then ends this book. And then what will happen?
And then we will read again.
Yeah, again and again. We are desperately praying for that. Premod bhavita harsher shyod vegadainyartim mishritam lapitam gorangandadrasya bhagyavad bhir nishevyate. Only the most fortunate will relish the mad words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which were mixed with jubilation, envy, agitation, submissiveness, and grief, all produced by ecstatic, loving emotions. The Prakrita Sahajas want to experience all these things without a drop of devotion. But Uddhava, who is considered to be the most dear to Krishna, when he went to Vrindavan, sent by Krishna, and saw the inconceivable, incomparable love of the Braja Gopis, he said, just seeing a very tiny spark of that love has made this verse come from my mouth. That I want to be a creeper. That is my highest aspiration. If I could be just a creeper, a little plant, a vine in Vrindavan, if I could become that, then I will have a chance that the Braja Gopis may pass this way and some dust from their holy feet will come on my head. Jaya Gora Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinda. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Bhaktivinda. Hey Mata Mahaprabhu Vaishe Nila Chale Rajani Divashe Krishna Virahe Vivale. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, he was continuously overwhelmed night and day by separation from Krishna. Swarupa Ramananda e Duijana Sane Ratri Dine Rasa Gita Shloka Ashvadane. Day and night he tasted transcendental blissful songs and verses with two associates. Namely, do you know who those two associates were? Mahaprabhu in his later pastimes. Very good. In his later pastimes, he would spend most of his time there with them. Very, very disrelishing his own purpose. Namely, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. Nana Bhava Ute Prabhura Harsha Shokarosha Danyodvega Arti Utkanta Shantosha. He relished the symptoms of various transcendental emotions, such as jubilation, lamentation, anger, humility, anxiety, grief, eagerness, and satisfaction. And of course, none of these emotions is known to us, even though those words are also used to describe mundane emotion. But when they're describing higher things, it's not something we have experience of. But we are still hearing about this. And this will purify us. Se bhave nicha shloka padiya shlokera arta ashvadaye duibandulanya. He would recite his own verses, expressing their meanings and emotions, and thus enjoy tasting them with these two friends. His own verses mean Śikṣāṣṭakam. Kona dine kona bhave shloka, kona dine kona bhave shloka patana, e shloka ashvadite ratri jagarana. Sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion and would stay awake all night reciting related verses and relishing their taste. Harshe Prabhu kahena shuna swarupa ramarai Namah Sankirtan kalau parama upai. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali." Sankirtana yagye kalau Krishna aradhana Seita sumedha paya Krishna racharana. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy names of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And then one may refer to the Antya Lila chapter 3 more about this. Krishna varnam tusa krishnang sangopangasta parshadam yagyai sankirtana prayar yajanti su hi sumehidasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This verse is spoken by the saint Karabhajana in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Namah Sankirtana Haite Sarvanartanasha Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna Premera Ulasa. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can become freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune by initiating the flow of waves of love of Krishna. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreyakairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma snapanam parang vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. So this is the, first verse of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Śikṣāṣṭakam. The other 7 verses are found in text 16, 21, 29, 32, 36, 39, and 47. So Srila Prabhupada is giving those for a quick reference. Sankirtana haite papa sangsara nashana chitta shuddhi sarva bhakti sadhana udgama. By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. I'm going to read that again. By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. Krishna premodgama premamrita asvadana Krishna prapti sevamrita samudre majjana. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. Utila Bishada Dainya Padayapana Shloka Jahara Arta Shuni Shabayaya Dukkha Shoka. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakala etadushi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishamiha janina nuraga. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity. And therefore you have so many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all of your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen, conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. Please pardon me. Okay, any questions so far? Aneke lokera vancha aneke prakara kripate karila aneka namera prachara. Because people vary in their desires, you have distributed various holy names by your mercy. Kahite shunite jata tata namalai kaladesha niyamanahi sarva siddhihai. Regardless of time or place, one who chants the holy name, even while eating or sleeping, attains all perfection. So the context is that there are so many Vedic mantras, but one has to have some qualification for chanting them. But this mantra does not require any restriction in terms of time or circumstance. At any time and in any circumstance, one can take the holy name, and anyone can do it. Kaite, Sarva Shakti Name Dila Kariya Vibhaga, Amara Durdaiva Name Nahi Anuraga. You have invested your full potencies in each individual holy name, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attachment for chanting your holy names. Crazy, huh? When you think about it, it's really crazy. We have so many attachments to so many painful things. Te rupe laile nama prema upajai, tahara lakshana shuna swarupa ramarai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. So this is now, Mahaprabhu is saying, now hear from me. What is this? What qualities have to be there for one to purely chant the holy name of the Lord and easily awaken one's dormant love for Krishna? Trinadapi sunichena tarodivasaihnuna ammanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. So Srila Guru Maharaj was saying, quoting someone, I had great hopes in becoming a Vaishnava, but when I heard this verse, Trinadapi Sunichena, I thought, no, it is impossible. But we will try, and we will try through surrender. There's no other way. Situations will come to show us who we are, where is our position. But the automatic reactions, whether it's lamentation, discouragement, anger, excitement, whatever it is that the mind is in the habit of doing, those will come out, and they're very difficult to overcome. But through surrender, the mind can become very peaceful, and we can see with a different perspective how that circumstance really helped me to see those things in myself. But also, that doesn't put us out in the cold, dark world. Tell you, well, there you are, you're just rotten. No, that surrender is giving us so much strength and help. Light coming in through surrender to the Lord, who is truth himself. Then what cannot happen? But he likes that we will make some effort. It has to be from our own free will that we will approach him. But he's so ready to help us. Uttamahanya apanake mune trinadana duri prakare sahishnuta kare vikshasama. These are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Although he is very excited, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground, and like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. Although I said excited, although he is very exalted, He thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground. And like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. Amanina, manadena. Oh. Okay, these two ways are given here. Vrikshajena kati leha kitrina bolaya shukanya maileha kare panina magaya. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. Jai magaye tare deya apanadhana karma vrishti sahe anera karaye rakshana. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it still gives shelter to others. My goodness. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it gives shelter to others. Uttama hanya Vaishnava habe nirabhimana jive samana dibe jani Krishna adhisthana. Although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone to be the resting place of Krishna. He's seeing Krishna in the heart of everyone, and he's seeing the living entity, the jiva, the atma, who's like him, maybe in so much of a suffering position. Haribo, Ei Mata Hanya Jai Krishna Namalai, Say Sri Krishna Charanetana Prema Upajai. If one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this manner, he will certainly awaken his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. So we have to always do everything in the mood of surrender, because how to actually do that is not easy to work out. Every circumstance is different. And even when the teacher is chastising the disciple, his pride is not there. And when a pure devotee is his disciple may be doing wrong, and he may say, "Get out, you have to go." But it is not out of his ego. It is out of surrender that Krishna is acting through him to give him some instruction that is very much needed by him. So this is a different kind of thing. So we don't know how the manifestation of Trinadapi Sunichena Tarori Vasahishnuna and Amanina Manadena may manifest in the pure devotee. He does not have any personal ego. He's fully surrendered to Krishna, and then, because of that, Krishna will act through him. So our main practice is in surrender to Krishna. If we try to act in these ways, just between us and someone else, without surrender, we may do that wrong. Or it may be some imitation or some artificial thing that we don't know. Everything must be done in relation to the Lord. And then those things will come out. Yes, sir. It has to be done in that way. Otherwise it is not real. In conditioned life, someone may develop the quality of humility because it is more peaceful. But that doesn't make it transcendental. One has to really surrender to the Lord to come to the actual position of these four qualities.
How do we know that we are trying to practice surrender properly? Because...
Do you see the Kleenex anywhere?
Yeah, it's under the... There it is. Mm-hmm. Humility is one of the limbs of surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're...
That's right.
You're helping us saying that we shouldn't imitate to practice the second verse of the Śikṣāṣṭakam.
I understand.
Humility is part of the six limbs of Sharanagati. So, how can we know that? What makes Sharanagati?
We have, like Srila Guru Maharaj said, we must see the hand of the Lord in all circumstances. This is a practice. This is not an easy thing to do. Because as we know, we have our knee-jerk reactions to things, right? Our just automatic, conditioned, we're like ghostly haunted. We just react to things. But in the mood of surrender to the Lord, that may not even happen immediately. But later on, we can think about it. This was not perfect. I forgot. And then remember, this situation was good for me, my Lord. And how shall I act? What shall I do? What is to be done? And many, many things can be shown to us. But humility is also necessary for realizing the necessity for surrender. Because we think, I got it. I got this. I do this and I do that and I'm this and I'm that and I'm that. I'm okay. I got it. Humility is necessary, and we can pray for that humility. My Lord, give me the humility to understand the necessity of surrender to you. Otherwise, we won't do it. We'll be happy with something that, we can externalize anything. Anything can become external. And that means ahankar. I'm doing this. I'm going to do the thing that is going to result in this other thing. Surrender and cancels that. Surrender means I am depending upon you. Although I'm trying, of course we must try, body, mind, and words. We must try to serve. But through increased surrender, our service will become more and more purified and perfect. Right? We're seeing through the dirt of our mind. But Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that will become purified by the chanting of the holy name in the mood of these four qualities. And that is going to take some time. But we're going to do it. We're going to do this thing. Our boat has been put on the water by the hand of divine grace. And we're not going to abandon that boat. We'll do whatever we need to do to come to our destination. And to leave those qualities out, it will not happen. We won't know what the holy name is at all. We won't taste it. So Guru Maharaj, we were talking about this before, but Guru Maharaj is saying, only by the cultivation of sound you can do what the great rishis and yogis and tapasvis and, all of these, hard processes and drilling the breath and controlling the mind, and only by the cultivation of sound you're going to get that done? Yeah, can we believe that? Is it ludicrous? But Guru Maharaj said, Trinadapi Sunishtan, there is where the holy name lives. We cannot find it properly outside of those qualities. We won't. We must purify our hearts, and there must be surrender there. How am I going to purify my own heart? I don't even know what's wrong with it. We are covered with so many layers that we think are true and substantial. We can't tell the difference. But the Lord can show us. But we must make an effort to hear what He's saying to us through the environment, through the lovely environment. Otherwise, we're like little orphans wandering around trying to manage for what? Die to live. This thing has to go wholesale. We can't keep even one drop of our ego. It all has to go. Every drop of our miserable burden of ego that we're defending with all our might and main. It all has to die. And find relief at last. And more than relief, somebody said to Guru Maharaj, so the holy name can give liberation? And Guru Maharaj said, liberation? What? Can the holy name give liberation? And Guru Maharaj said, I couldn't understand. He said, not only liberation, positive life, loving life. Where there is no ego, there cannot be any problem. It's only the ego that causes disturbance. Only. Everything by nature is harmonious. It's only ego that's causing disharmony. Even in the look of disharmony, where is Bhagavad Gita spoken?
In the battlefield.
Does that look like harmony? But it is. It all happened by the Lord's will. And one who wants to come into that flow, that current of the divine will of the Lord, anything can be going on. He's not feeling any disharmony at all. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, don't try for the kingdom of God and leave God out of it. It's not going to happen. The kingdom of God without God, that's not possible. That's why we have so many laws. Why are there so many rules in the scripture? To try to tame our ego so we're not eating each other. But there's no laws in Vrindavan. The laws are there just to make breaking the laws sweeter. There's no law for the lawful person. There's no law for the good citizen. There is in this world, but you can understand what I mean. He doesn't have so many restrictions. Good question. Was that answered?
My question was, what makes surrender? And what I understood from your answer is embracing his guardianship.
Yeah, that's the central one. Very central. That's the central one. All the other ones are around that one. We have a guardian. And as we read a couple of days ago in Chaitanya Charitamrta, oh no, maybe Upadeshamrita, Srila Guru Maharaj said, we must take shelter of the he said the invulnerable. He's not vulnerable. There's no mistake in him. He doesn't make mistakes unless he wants to. Just for pastimes. He's invulnerable. Name one other shelter. I mean, if we want to think about it and name another shelter, we'll have to have a list with a bunch of lines through every single thing. There is no shelter in mundanity. So we're not to take shelter of the, what is the word? Anyway, vulnerable soldiers, the imperfect soldiers that are surrounding us, who we think are going to protect us. But they're completely helpless. In the story of Gajendra, is a story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Gajendra had been a king, Indradyumna, but he made some offense to... Did you look in the big one, Didi?
There's not in there.
Oh, no.
I didn't see it in there.
Oh, the box is not there?
No, I could look again.
Okay, I mean, it's up to... I'm just saying. So he had been King Indradyumna, but he had made an offense to a sage, and he was cursed to become an elephant. Anyhow, Gajendra, and he was the king of the elephants in this heavenly region, and he entered into the water with his wives and his children, so many elephant wives and children, and he's splashing them and having a wonderful time. He was attacked by a crocodile in the water. And when he looked over, he saw the helpless soldiers of his family. They could do nothing. They're just standing and watching helplessly. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we also must understand that we must take shelter of the Lord and the devotees of the Lord, not to take shelter of something that cannot give you shelter. There's many, the examples are unlimited. There's no limit to the examples of that. So it's very wonderful to hear these things. Take shelter of the invulnerable. Haribol. And then we'll begin here, and we'll just read this same verse over again tomorrow. Verse number 26. Jai, Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju ki Jai, Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Well, we were going to have a nice half hour of... Krishna had other plans. So we can begin to read a little from Brhad Bhagavatamrta today. And this morning I was listening to Srila Guru Maharaj talking about Brhad Bhagavatamrta, because about Uddhava and how Uddhava came to the Yadus, and the Yadus said, "Oh no, we're nothing. It is Uddhava who is the great devotee of the Lord." And then when Narada praised Uddhava, Uddhava said, "Oh, maybe, it can be said like that I'm the favorite of Krishna." Krishna did say that, but he sent me to see the Braja Gopis' love. Now I understand. Nobody can even understand or fathom their devotion for Krishna. Jai Shri Brhad Bhagavatamrta Ki Jai. We're now in the chapter 5 called Priya, the Beloved. And text number 8, this is page 394. Jai Shri Brhad Bhagavatamrta Ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Yo Brahma Rudradi Samadri Durlabo Vedokti Tatparya Vishesha Gochara Sriman Nrsinga Kilava Manascha Shri Raghavendropi Adang Sarupa. For Brahma, Rudra, and other demigods, he, meaning the Lord, is difficult to realize, even in advanced meditation. He can be known only through the words of he can be known through the words of the Vedas only when one understands their special purport. Sriman Nrsinga, Sri Vamana, and Sri Raghavendra are his plenary expansions. So he's saying, they in Brahma Samhita, they sudurlabham, adurlabham atma bhakto. So from the Veda, unless you can contact the heart, unless you are blessed by the heart of the Vaishnava, he cannot be known through the Veda. It is very rare. Durlabha. Commentary. The supremely charming transcendental person, Sri Krishna, is difficult to understand. Great demigods may know his supremacy theoretically, but they cannot begin to taste Krishna prema. So, knowing means prema. It means love. You can't know Krishna without love. So he's here. Great demigods may know his supremacy theoretically, but they cannot begin to taste Krishna prema. So that is not really knowing. Excuse me. But they cannot begin to taste Krishna prema. All Vedic texts are ultimately descriptions of Sri Krishna. Yet his all-attractive charm is not obvious in the literal meaning of the Vedic mantras, nor in their ritualistic expansions. One must discover the secret purport of the Vedas, which is possible only by the mercy of Sri Krishna's pure devotees. Jnanis follow the process of atanirashana, negating all inessential concepts, to find the Supreme gradually in his impersonal feature. But to obtain a more confidential understanding of the personality of Godhead, this neti method is inadequate. Jai Mahaprabhu, Jai Guru Ki Jai. Are you following the purport? Very well. Okay, it's pretty simple. Vaishnavas adore the Supreme Brahman in various aspects of his personality. They worship him at different times as the avatars Nrsinga, Vamana, and Ramachandra, and so on. Each Vaishnava has his own favorite form of the Lord, his Ishta Deva, his worshipable Lord. Even though Lord Nrsimha is frightening and prone to anger, he has many devotees who constantly remember how he cared for Prahlad and protected him from all dangers. So to them he's not frightening. Lord Vamana is also popular even though a dwarf. His devotees remember how he covered the universe with 3 steps and displayed his universal form to Bali. Countless devotees for millions of years have revered Lord Ramachandra, remembering his example as a perfect monarch. But the attraction of each of these avatars is but a reflection of Sri Krishna's supreme attractiveness. All the avatars of Godhead, finally, are his partial expansions. Each of them is the absolutely potent Supreme Person, but none of them exhibits all the aspects of his potency. Only Sri Krishna manifests completely the glories of God. Sri Krishna in Vrindavan, and even the forms of Krishna in Vrindavan, there are gradations. But that is who he is at home, and there he is fully manifest. Nowhere else. By the word Kila, indeed, Narada indicates that Krishna's primacy among the forms of Godhead is a well-known fact, especially established by Scripture. In particular, Srimad Bhagavatam declares, Ete Changsha Kala Punsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Shrayam. These avatars are all parts and parcels, parts of parts. These avatars are all parts and parts of the Supreme Person. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishna is superior to Lord Nrsimha, Lord Vamana, and Lord Raghavendra, meaning Ramachandra. And therefore the Pandavas are superior to Sri Prahlad, Bali, and Hanuman. So the devotees of the different avatars and expansions of the Lord are not as exalted in their devotion as those whose devotion is for Krishna. Because only that devotion, that kind of devotion, that depth of devotion, that type of nobility of devotion is necessary for a relationship with Krishna. So there's gradation everywhere. Perfect, more perfect, most perfect, super, most high, perfect of all perfect. It's all perfect. None has a flaw in Vaikuntha and all upward. There's no flaw there. But then there's gradation of perfection. And this is arguably so. That kind of devotion is very rare. Krishna is superior to Lord Nrsimha. Oh, excuse me, we already read this. So that will be our reading of Brihad Bhagavatamrta for today, because there's a nice purport. Any question about that? Anything?
Why is there gradation?
Because there are gradations there's gradation everywhere. And those who wish to worship the Lord in a particular mood, it is their nature. They have their own nature, and Krishna is reciprocating with that. So those who really want to see the Lord as God, as the supreme Lord of Vaikuntha, and that is their mood. They love to worship him like that, in this reverential. And Krishna is there reciprocating with those feelings. It is their very nature. But Mahaprabhu is coming to grant something astonishing. Anyway, is that some of these things we will understand as we are making some progress. Not everything is so clear,
Yeah,
But a lot of it is clear that we can understand something about it. What was that?
That it is beyond our conception. For example, when I think those who are in the mood of Madhura Rasa, they are reciprocating with the Lord as lovers, and it's hard to conceive that even them, that they have attained such high position, they still need to surrender more and more and go to the next level of reciprocation with the Lord.
Not exactly like that. It's not exactly like that. Well, in you could say something like that, but it's not exactly the next level. It is that that love is it doesn't plateau. Love is always increasing. It's the very nature of love, not in this plane. Love means okay, yeah, yep, that's what I want. It's very boring, actually. But love of Krishna has it's of an infinite quality. And the pastimes of Krishna are always sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So it's like that more, I would say. Though I may have misunderstood you. But it's not, maybe I'm saying the same thing as you are. But anyway, these are all kind of, way over our head, because we really don't know anything about that kind of love. When Uddhava, who is the favorite, more than Lakshmi, more than Baladev in Dwarka, Uddhava, Krishna says, Uddhava, you are more dear to me than I am dear to me. And when Uddhava is seeing that kind of devotion, he said, I only saw one tiny spark of that. It is all inconceivable to me. But that one thing that I saw has made me want to be at the feet of those damsels forever. As a plant. Let them come by and maybe some dust from their feet. Like he's really worshipping them so these things, if Uddhava cannot conceive of it, how will we conceive of it? It is only because Mahaprabhu has put all of that in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in this age. And that's why Lord Chandas Thakur is saying, what a tragedy. Anyone who doesn't take this wondrous substance, he's like someone who commits suicide on purpose. It's so tragic. It's so terrible. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we're all trying. All right? Something. But if you have a ticket to get on a ship, you're as good as there. Don't forget. It's just some journey in the meantime. And who wants a journey without anything happening? Very boring. Wow, what are you going to write in your diary? Yeah, we just same thing every day, ocean. No, there was this big storm. We almost fell over, and then somebody fell. Somebody else had to go, and then there was a boat, and we had to pull it up. You know, there's a journey, but it's a good one. The only journey, once we have some appreciation, even a little, we can't look at any other journey with very much excitement. I think I'm going to go to another country and look at trees there, because they're slightly different from the trees here. Yay! And then what? Haraye Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Srimati Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Radha Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhadraguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasaraguna Hey Chai Gosai Kuni Chalana Banda Jai Te Vignana Sabista Pura Hey Chai Gosai Jammu Charada Tasvara Paradenu Mor Panchagra Tandira Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniva Janame More Abhila Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiyasaka Mat Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Bol.
Sending lots of affection to all the online devotees. All the online devotees.
Jai. Hari Bol.